What's up, guys? So in today's video I'm going to be breaking down a trade that actually ended up giving us a 1 to 4, and now I didn't end up calling this during our live trading. We ended up catching it after session in our premium alerts channel, and we did have a few members catch it, but I figured I might as well make a YouTube video just going over this trade. It was actually really easy, so it's probably going to be a short video, but let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. Alright, notice how I'm in the replay mode. I went ahead and just kept this in my take profit levels just so I don't have to re-add those, but I am going to be dropping the supply levels. Now notice how the M15 is way up here. We have an H1 way down here, but we're just going to focus on these lower time frames. I usually look for 3 time frames within my stop loss to take a trade, and we ended up not doing that today. It was actually a really risky trade, but it definitely ended up going in our favor. So go into the M5 right here. See, we have this previous contrary candle to the move down. Let me go ahead and put an M5 right here, and notice how we wanted to mark this one right here because this one was already tapped into by this candle right here, and this is the previous contrary candle to this drop, right? So we went ahead and marked that with the M5, and you go right up here and you can see the M1 was right here as well. Now ideally a good stop loss would be above this M15, because then you have the M1 and M15 level to go ahead and work in your favor in case the trade does not respect M5, right? But going forward with this, you can see let's see, let me actually zoom out a little and just go ahead and do this. You can see we were going up, we tapped right into that M5 level, and that's when we got our entry point. And you can see fairly quick, we took a little bit of drawdown, but look how quick we went through our TP levels. TP1 hit right there, TP2, and then you can see we were making our way to TP3, and TP3 was tapped into right there, and we retraced a little to the upside right there, and then still had a little bounce, was bouncing, and that's when we had TP4. And notice how quick it was and how clean of a trade, and this was a pretty tight stop loss, as you can see right there. And we only had one other time frame within our stop loss, and that was at M1, and honestly it wouldn't even have helped us out. We ended up putting our stop loss right at the M1, so if it would have tapped that M1 we would have been stopped out most likely. But you can see it went to TP4 actually really quick, and notice how accurate this trade was just off the M5 area, and look how far we went down. Now before we move forward, I called this level out before. This area down here was the initial area we were waiting for, and notice how we just missed it right here. And I was telling everyone I was looking to get in at this M5 or H1, but we ended up catching this, and we didn't even look at this. I actually did have a member in the group go ahead and take this trade. Let's just go ahead and go to this. You can see price actions just slowly going now, and at this level right here we were actually looking to enter off this H1. So let's go ahead and, while we're down here, mark the H1, and we were going to go ahead and do 4 cons, right? Same thing we did up there, except we were just going to be taking longs. So go ahead and mark 4 cons, the longs, and now let's look at what this was doing, right? So we just tapped into that M5, but we were looking to enter off the H1, so we just missed it right there, right? But let it come down. You can see we just got into the trade right there. Just got into the trade, took a little bit of drawdown right there, and you can see, look how strong this next candle was, right? Off this level of demand. You can see from the tip of that was almost a 1 to 4 right there. You know, and if you kept holding, boom, right there would have been a 1 to 4. You can see how fast that gave a 1 to 4, and it's just because these levels are being respected, these levels of supply, demand. Now notice how off this H1 and M5 area, look how far it takes us. Keep on going forward, and look, it takes us all the way up here to our original entry, right? The one trade that we ended up catching that 1 to 4 on that we broke down in the beginning. All right, this is where we're at right now. Notice, just drag this over. You would have tapped into it right here. And remember about that M1 we were talking about earlier. Luckily, we wouldn't have got stopped out. It honestly depends on your broker, but look, we tapped right into that M1. And that's why I say you need to have at least 3 time frames before your stop loss gets hit. In this trade, it was a lot riskier. We only had this M1, but notice how when it broke past this, it tapped into that M1, respected that M1, and that's what pretty much gave this move down, and it's almost at TP4 again. So this trade literally gave you another chance. Obviously this is a lot later in the day, but you can see right here, I respected those same levels and gave another move down. And honestly, that's just what we do with supply and demand. You can see it right here. This trade respected that area perfectly. We barely took any drawdown, and it ended up giving us a 1-4. Same thing with this. Notice how we didn't catch this. We had just one member, I believe, catch this trade. But you can see it respected that H1 M5 if you would have entered off the H1 like we were mentioning. And that's what we wanted to do. This just happened past our session. You can see you would have taken very little drawdown and just dragged this up to its peak. It ran a 1-11 just off that level of demand and dragged this one down to the bottom, and it ran a 1-11 as well. So you can see these levels of supply and demand are very strong. You really need 3 time frames and confluence to have the highest probability. Today we just took that risk and it played out and honestly gave us a 1-4 fairly quick. But I figured I'd go ahead and break down this trade. Going to be uploading trades that we take onto YouTube. But if you like the video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.